Hello, we are skipping the intro today because I have a story for you. So, this is the start of another reading vlog, and it's for one of my most anticipated reads of the year. And I bumped this, so it moved. Oh my god. And that is All's Well by Mona Wad. So, I pre-ordered this back in February of this year, and it's pretty much the first book I've ever pre-ordered like this before. I ordered it off of Book Depository because that's kind of the easiest way for me to get English language books here in France. Mona Wad is the author of Bonnie, which I have read and talked about previously here on my channel, and her book was just crazy. It was really good. It was one of those things where people tend to either love it or hate it, but it was so good it meant that when her next book came out, I wanted to be able to read it right away. However, this book came out on August 3rd, and it was shipped from Book Depository on July 28th, I believe it was. Loud car in the background. It was supposed to be delivered to me on August 2nd. However, the tracking said incomplete, could not be delivered, incomplete or wrong address. And it's just like, what? I've ordered from Book Depository like 8 times previously and have never had a problem with them. So this was just really out of the ordinary, and like, what is going on? Also, this is the first time I've ever had tracking with an order, so I was really surprised by that. But this went on for 2 more days where it would have like 3 updates of like attempted delivery, wrong address, and it's just like, we're here, we're home all the time. Like, why can I not deliver a book? Like, it was just this book. And I found out it was UPS that was trying to deliver, which usually it's just the normal mail for my books from Book Depository, so I also thought that was weird. And my husband called for me because I don't know enough French to be able to hold a good phone conversation. So he got it situated where they were going to send it to a relay point, and we would just go there and pick it up the next day. Well, we go there and they're like, no, we don't take UPS deliveries anymore. So then the next day we had to call again. And he's just like, yo, send it to our house, please. The address is correct. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And I took his phone number. And today, Monday, August 9th, I think it is. Yeah. A whole entire week after they first tried to deliver it to me, it is in my hands. The person actually finally used the phone number, called, delivered it. Oh my god. It was just so much back and forth. We were running around town trying to figure out where this thing was. Like, I have never had so much trouble having to have a book delivered. And when we got the package, there's like so many stickers on the box. And I'm not going to show it because my address is on there like 3 freaking times. But it was not fun. And I was hoping to already have like this reading vlog filmed, done, and be editing it this week. But instead, I just got this into my hands 10 minutes ago. So this better be worth it. Oh my god. So since I pre-ordered this back in February, I haven't read the description since then. So holy crap, your clicking is going to be in this video 100%, but that's fine. I don't care. Yeah. So let's read the description together because I only vaguely remember what is supposed to be going on in here. Alright. Miranda Fitch's life is a waking nightmare. The accident that ended... Okay, we have a tortilla instead. The accident that ended her burgeoning acting career left her with excruciating chronic pain, a failed marriage, and a deepening dependence on painkillers. And now she's on the verge of losing her job as a college theater director. Determined to put on Shakespeare's All's Well That Ends Well, the play that promised and cost her everything, she faces a mutinous cast hell-bent on staging staging Macbeth instead. Miranda sees her chance at redemption slip through her fingers. That's when she meets three strange benefactors who have an eerie knowledge of Miranda's past and a tantalizing promise for her future, one where the show goes on, her rebellious students get what's coming to them, and the invisible, doubted pain that's kept her from the spotlight is made known. With prose Margaret Atwood has described as no punches pulled, no hilarities dodged, genius, Mona Awad has concocted her most potent subversive novel yet. All's Well is the story of a woman at her breaking point and a formidable, piercingly funny indictment of our collective refusal to witness and believe female pain. So, can I not ruin this in 2 seconds? So I really identify with that last sentence there because I have fibromyalgia and trying to get diagnosed has been a whirlwind. Since I was a teenager, no doctor has really believed the amount of pain that I'm in, and it's something that's been affecting me for over a decade now, and I'm only just now getting answers, so it really seems like I'm going to be able to relate to this character a bit. And also, I am just really excited to dive into here, so I should start reading this tonight. It's about like dinner time here now, so I'm gonna make dinner and stuff first. But this might be a quick reading vlog just because I might be so like absorbed and involved in this book that I just fly through it. So I'm really curious to see how it's gonna go. But wow, the font in this is really big. But also, here, I'll take this part off. This is the book without the jacket. Ooh, I like that. I am just so happy this is finally here and I can finally read it. Like, God, I wanted to start it a week ago. But that's first world problems. That's first world problems right there, so I can't really complain too much. Anyway, let's get into it. It is the next day, and I read just over 100 pages. I don't even know. Oh God, cats. Oh, why are you doing this? Okay. Dorothy. Cat is right behind the camera. It's gonna be bouncy. So, okay. I am on chapter 10, and there's no page numbers. Page 109. Alright. So, I got like a third of the way through. Wow. The book last night, and this is definitely different. If I can get this to slide down. So a majority of this book so far has pretty much been in the main character Miranda in her mind. Like, we are very privy to her thoughts, her feelings, and this pain that she's experiencing. And I think I'm more emotional about this book than a completely normal person would be, because I deal with chronic pain every day myself, and so I really feel for the main character, and I can really understand where she's coming from and what she's thinking and feeling. So there really isn't exactly a plot in this book. Like, it doesn't really seem to be a end goal at the moment. There's just kind of little snippets here and there, but a majority of it is literally just what's going on in her head rather than... You're very loud. Rather than what she's doing. So the mysterious three men that it talks about in the description, we have met twice now, and I'm kind of hoping from here that they're going to play a bigger part in the story, because this is taking a while to ramp up, but I'm actually okay with that. It doesn't feel like a bad thing or anything, and the story doesn't really feel slow. However, if you can't really relate to Miranda at all, I feel like you might not like this and find it rather boring. One thing though is I'm not quite sure what her age is supposed to be. I think she might be in her 30s, I think it might have said. But I really can't remember, actually. I might have to look back at that. The strange aspects of this book are definitely out there. It's not a book that you can just quickly read and understand everything. Like, that's not gonna cut it. You're gonna have to pay attention and try to understand what exactly is happening. I'm really excited to see where it's going to go and kind of how the craziness is just going to continue to ramp up, because so far it's pretty much Miranda with her pain is increasing each day, and everything that she tries to do to have some relief just makes it worse. And so her pain is just escalating from moment to moment until she pretty much can't move. And that's kind of at the point where I stopped last night. So let's see where things end up from there. So it's a little bit later and I've made it to part 2, chapter 15, page 164. And I don't have the dust cover on right now, so I'm not going to bother putting it up here or anything. But I am really liking this book. It is really good and just, oh man. So more of the weirdness and craziness is happening. We are getting into like mystical, magical things now, and it's fantastic, really. And the fact that I can relate so much to the main character, I think, is really what's making this book for me. Wanting to be pain-free, or being able to like transfer the pain away and be happy in everything and feel good. I can relate to that so hard, and I'm just rooting so much for the main character, even though she's probably not mentally stable and maybe not be a good person in the end. I don't know. She is, I'm pretty much 100% certain, a unreliable narrator. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how the story develops from here. But it's really starting to be a wild ride, and I am just so excited and glad that I can go on it. Well, guess what? I ended up binging all of the rest of this last night and stayed up until 1 a.m. to finish it. I did say at the beginning of this that it might be a shorter vlog because of something like that, and it happened. So at first I wasn't going to binge all of it, but I really wanted to know what was going to happen next, and my husband even suggested that I could if I wanted to, that leaving the light on for me to see was okay, and so I did it. And I loved every second of it. So like I've said previously, I really identify with this character. Dealing with chronic pain is so frustrating because it's invisible. No one can see what you're going through, and so many people will just discredit you or think you're overreacting, or that since the tests come back saying you're fine, that you are fine. And just going through that for so many years can just be soul crushing, and not having a diagnosis, knowing what is going on, why does your body seem to hate you so much, it's really depressing, and it's something that is very hard to go through and makes it hard to live a normal life. So this main character, Miranda, is going through all of that, and I relate to that so hard. And I really think if you deal with chronic pain that you're going to end up loving this book, and that those that aren't as familiar with dealing with pain on that level might find it annoying or grating, as that is what a majority of the story is about. Like it says in the description, this is about how women's pain is so ignored, and if you haven't dealt with that, you might not fully understand as much or fully relate. So I would keep that in mind going into this. Also, if you have read Bunny and are wondering if this is at all like that book, yes, it 100% is. And one thing that I really loved about Bunny is how the ending is ambiguous. You can have multiple interpretations of what actually happened, and that is exactly how this one ends as well, which I love. Pretty much throughout most of this, you don't exactly have that feeling. It seems as straightforward as it can be, being a weird, strange, mono-wad book. However, the last few chapters just open it up into different possibilities, and I love that about her books. Mona Wad has definitely become an author where I will be picking up every single book of hers in the future. She is definitely a must-read author for me. The end of this can be really confusing and does go off the rails. I used to write when I was a teenager, and the way she writes kind of reminds me of how I used to write stories where kind of only the author truly knows what's going on, but the audience can kind of take what they want from it. But I just love her style and the way that she makes these stories and creates these characters. They feel so real and alive. Also, another thing I mentioned before is that we are really in Miranda's mind in this book, and that means that we're kind of following her train of thoughts a lot. So prepare for like short sentences where she's kind of just rapid firing thoughts, or her thoughts are changing quickly. So the topic or the scene might change quickly since we're in her mind. So if you don't like that sort of thing, then this definitely will not be for you, because since we spend so much of the book in her head like that, if you don't like it, I mean, I would not recommend it at all. This book also has a lot of flashbacks and just kind of moments where something that's happening will remind her of something that happened in her past. So she'll kind of flash back to that moment, and it kind of blurs the lines between reality and what happened in the past, as she kind of will push that narrative on what's happening now. So we have the whole like unreliable narrator, someone that's going through a lot in their life, some mysticism, some magic maybe, some other things I won't mention. Also, she does one thing in this book that I love when authors do. There is a point near the end of this book where a character calls someone else Bunny, and I like squealed because I love stuff like that, a la Stephen King, where they reference their other works in their stories, and I don't know, I always just get a kick out of that. And it also makes me wonder, like, are these connected in any way? So I really think that's fun. So in the end, I gave this 5 stars. I haven't given a 5-star out in a long time. I usually find some scenes in a book that just made me uncomfortable or just didn't really work for me, and so it'll lower my rating a little bit, but everything works for me in this. And I really think a lot of it has to do with just how much I could connect with Miranda and kind of just be in her shoes. I was actually rooting for her, even though I don't think you're supposed to be. So I don't know, it's just one of those things where I felt it on such a personal level that I had to rate it 5 stars. This just came out on August 3rd, and I usually don't buy my books at all, but this one I just had to have, and I'm so glad, because I really do want to own the books that I really like my 4.5 to 5-star reads, things like that. I would really like to have them because I might reread them one day, and just for like the memories and everything as well. So if all of that sounds up your alley, I would definitely get this. Books and Lala is actually going to be reading this book for her Literally Dead book club in September. So now is the perfect time to pick it up in preparation for that. I'm really looking forward to the discussion and her live show that will probably be the end of September or in October. So as always, thank you for hanging out with me, even though this one was a lot shorter than normal. I think it was just 2 days or something like that. I mean, I guess technically 3 if you count that I didn't finish it until 1 a.m. But until next time, bonne journée and au revoir.